welcome to an Azure Everyday video. My name is Daniel Taylor, Principal Consultant here at Pragmatic Works. In a previous video, I talked about deployments and how these deployments of a managed instance to Azure could take some time. So over here you can see that we have a managed instance, and as I showed in a previous video, it took about 1 day, 13 hours, and so many minutes to deploy my managed instance. Well, this didn't all work as expected when I first deployed it. I got a little impatient, and at this point of this time, one of the keys to deploying a managed instance is patience. So here you can see I have a test POC MI and a test POC MI 02. Those are my first attempts at a new managed instance within my subscription. When I went to deploy this, I deployed it through a template as well as through the portal, and it was taking hours upon hours to deploy. And as I mentioned in the video where I showed the deployment times, I just wasn't patient enough. And they give you warning. Microsoft gives you plenty of warning that this could take over 24 hours to deploy. Here you can see I've had 2 successful deployments. It's a little misleading. Let me click on that because there's something in here I wanted to show you. You can see here that I actually canceled a deployment. That was a huge mistake on my part. The onus is on me there. I did not give the deployment enough time to complete. Well, the canceling of this deployment has really made it interesting in removing this resource group from my environment. What's happening is you can see here, and I'll talk about in another video, some of the setup that you need to do prior to deploying a managed instance. There's some things we need to do prior to it's just not click, 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 next. There's some things we need to do ahead of time. But here, let's click on my virtual network that I set up within this resource group. When you deploy a managed instance, you need to have some prerequisites. One of them, setting up its own subnet within a virtual network. So I had some subnets set up. I set up a DB subnet, and I had some information in here that was in there. It's all been subsequently removed. I had a route table in there. But if we go back here real quick to our test POC MI resource group, you can see that I have 2 resources still there. I have this virtual cluster that was deployed to my subnet, and I have my VLAN that has the subnet within it. What is happening is that if I go in here, I go to my subnet, and I try to, let's say, remove this subnet. Yes, let me remove that. We get this error, and this error is telling us that something is still associated with this particular subnet. Through a little bit of troubleshooting and just narrowing down what was there, what is happening is it appears, and Microsoft is working on this with me, is that this virtual cluster DB subnet is still associated with that subnet. So when I go to deploy it or delete my resource group, it will not do anything for me. So if I click on my virtual cluster DB subnet, you can see here it tells us how many managed instances we have, which are 0. We know I canceled them, so I didn't have any. But you can see here there's really nothing we can do in here. I tried through PowerShell to remove the subnet. I tried through a bunch of other type PowerShell resources to get rid of my virtual network as well. Tried to force remove the entire resource group, and nothing worked. It would run for hours and then just fail. I reached out to Microsoft. I opened a case. I went down here to the old new support request, and I have a support request open with them. And right now they're telling me that there is no way to get rid of these resources without opening a ticket with them. So I have a ticket open, and we're still working through some of the issues. They're telling me that after 7 days, if nothing's part of this virtual cluster DB subnet, it should delete automatically. That isn't happening right now, so I'm still working with them. Once I get an answer and I find out how to clean this up, I will post back with respect to this issue. It could be that Microsoft has to clean this up completely for me because we don't have the ability to control some of these items yet. So this is Daniel Taylor, Pragmatic Works Principal Consultant, with another Azure Everyday video.